Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Hello.
We're here to keep this really collaborative as well, so I would really hope that we can just chat as we were doing before this even turned on.
I think that's pretty easy when you put the three of us in one room, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think what we really want to get out of this morning is talking about how affiliates has become a really important channel for Ksubi, and also how we all collaborate effectively together as our partnership stands between ProfitPeak, Thoughtful and Ksubi. And I think there's a lot of learnings we can take out of it.
Yeah.
That a lot of brands can jump in and be like, yes, I could do that too, and I can learn from this. So before we kick off, over to you, Rachel, to introduce yourself.
Me first.
Yes.
Okay. Well, head of digital at Ksubi. I've been in the leadership role now for about 2.5 years, but prior to that, I was the digital marketing manager for the brand. So 4.5 years in total. I'm overseeing at the moment the e-commerce side of the business, the digital acquisition and retention, and the customer experience as well. Plate's pretty full. But what's great is I also have an amazing digital marketing manager who works really closely with Chris and you guys on the tools, which is amazing. And in terms of kind of how things kicked off, I suppose when I entered the business with affiliates, I had never managed affiliates before I walked into Ksubi's doors. So it's been, a big part of my toolkit that I've learned, over the last couple of years with the support of the partners and the tools. Yeah.
Amazing. Over to you, Chris.
So I'm Chris. I am the head of affiliates and partnerships at Thoughtful. I've been with Thoughtful for around 4 years now. Time has flown. When I started, we had 12 affiliate programs. Now we have 60 plus.
Yeah, wow.
And it's a channel that I truly believe in. I truly believe brands need to be investing in it. It's now kind of got a position at the table next to Meta and Google. So it's really a channel that we see all brands kind of tapping into now. I think a lot of brands had negative experiences in the past. Some brands like to choose an affiliate network or a in-house team to kind of manage, but the nuances of the channel, I think you need someone that's really on the tools, in the tools daily, who really do truly have your best interests at heart as well.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. The minute you say there's 80 affiliate channels, right? How can one person internally even really be across that?
Yeah.
It really screams to me that it needs to be a dedicated resource or an agency brought
Definitely.
in.
And you're dealing with like partners in all regions. So for Ksubi, we manage their AU, NZ, US and Canadian kind of affiliates. There's also the UK partners that we work with as well. But you also work on multiple time zones. You kind of need someone that can kind of negotiate on your behalf and know what you should be paying in the channel as well.
Yeah, it makes total sense to me. Before we dive into our first topic, I should probably introduce myself. I am Carla Penn-Kahn. I'm the co-founder and CEO of ProfitPeak. ProfitPeak is a platform that brings together marketing, finance, and product so operators can grow with clarity. So that's a little bit about us. Now, I think most brands don't just wake up and say, I'm going to dive into affiliates one day.
No.
They definitely possibly do that for a paid media strategy, like let's add a new paid media channel, but I don't think affiliates is what first comes to mind.
No.
Sometimes it is.
Ooh,
when
love that.
I get an email from a client or an introduction from like Alice, trainer at LTK, and then when you jump on a client will say, or a brand will reach out because they want to monetize influencers and get introduced to ShopMy or LTK. And then when you take them on that full journey, they go, oh, wow, I didn't know what this channel was. So
I agree with that. That's why I think people don't wake up and say, I want to go down the affiliate path, because they don't actually know what affiliate means, or they think about the early days of coupon codes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what it was.
I think it does have different connotations. And I think to your point as well, other brands who probably would think of it first are the ones that they're happy to pay the CPAs, but they don't want to be paying loads in media spend. So it's like, if I get a conversion, yes, I'm willing to take the X percent, but don't have the finances to do heavy advertising. But then it's gonna, you need kind of both in synergy for it to work. But yeah, I can imagine that's another brand position as well.
And the surprising thing is when you say to a client or a new business that you can claw back the commission if you return the product.
Yeah.
Like that is truly the most efficient channel that you can operate in. Klaviyo might be, or like CRM might be a bit more efficient, but when a you're prospecting.
Your new customer acquisition, right?
Yeah.
Klaviyo does help nurture new customers, but you wouldn't call it a new customer acquisition channel.
No. And I think just touching on, the word affiliate, I think in our business, we position ourselves as a premium streetwear brand. It was a bit of a taboo word. It felt a little bit cheap at the beginning, but we've done a lot of work to try and, diversify where we're showing up and why, rather than, we started off on the honeys and the cash rewards, and it was just kind of turning up to play in that space, but we've become way more curated over the last couple of years. But that's definitely played a big role in executive buy-in in the business, whether it is something they want to lean into and getting that financial backing as well. So yeah, it's been a big transition for us, kind of educating the business on the scope of affiliates and what that means.
Yeah, so if we take a step back and we think about how you actually position this to get affiliates across the line as a channel that should be included in Ksubi's mix, how did that conversation go?
I think a couple of years ago it was a lot harder because, and I think going back to Chris's point of why we needed external resources, the tool, the tech, the tools, the visibility, the transparency, it was tricky. The Rakuten as a platform has come a long way. The acquisition now with Impact is really exciting to kind of see what's going to happen as the next layer. But it wasn't very easy to determine what's incremental. And that was the question I kept getting from CFOs and execs in the business. Like, how can you prove that this wasn't going to come anyway? So I think in the early days, I didn't have the tools to do that. I had to do, a bit more of, well, if we don't do it, this is what we could miss out on. Getting a few runs on the board with partners and exercises that we did with campaigns to say there has been an uplift with the channel. And I think a lot of learnings with our CPA modeling, which we just kind of had to test and learn on the way. But I think now what's really exciting with bringing like a platform with ProfitPeak in is you could actually do your incremental testing way more sophisticated than we did it. It was a little bit finger in the air and see, and it did feel a little bit high risk because we were like, oh God, if we lose that, can we make it up somewhere else, etc. So for us, it was just a lot of test of learn, see how it goes. Now, I think if someone was starting out, they could, the incremental part is so much easier. Actually being able to prove with ProfitPeak what is a new and returning customer, what those AOVs are, are conversations I wasn't able to have a couple of years ago, but we can have now.
Yeah, great point. And I also think a big part for a brand is also then, does that customer come back?
That's it, yeah. And that customer lifetime, etc. And, some interesting insights that have come out for us recently is just 6 months really for us to capitalize on a Rakuten customer and really make sure we're driving that second purchase and insights and knowledge that we just did not have a couple of years ago when we were making some of our earlier decisions that have helping us now.
Do you think it's helped with international expansion as well? So not just tapping into an Australian consumer, but also internationally?
Well, look, our US portfolio is quite big as well. And, as Chris touched on, every region with affiliates does have to have a different strategy because not all partners are equal, across the globe, which has been something that we've all had to tackle. But yeah, how people engage, the new versus returning split for us in US and AU is slightly different as well. So yeah, that's definitely part of our analysis and consideration in our strategy.
Do you see a similar response from other brands when they're investing in the channel?
Yes, I think the Australian consumer is very different to the American consumer, different to the United Kingdom, like the British consumer, even the European consumer. People's shopping behavior is very different. I think as brand custodians and marketers, the Australian consumer goes through a longer purchase cycle where the American consumer will see something and purchase something very quickly. They also have a higher return rate than the Australian customer as well. So that is also the likes of Amazon coming in and kind of training the customer in that manner, where I think we still have those customers who buy direct a lot more frequently.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's really interesting. And when you think about, the right channel within affiliates, how have you guys been able to approach that together?
So I think it's making sure that we're visible wherever the customer is going to go down that journey, a full funnel strategy. So it's working and making sure we're monetizing all the PR and marketing efforts that the team at Ksubi is doing through Vogue and Condé Nast and News Corporation and influencers on LTK and Shop My, and then those middle of funnel publishers that are those consideration publishers like List, but also appearing where consumers will be searching. Like, we all know, we all shop like this. They search brand name discount code. You cannot stop your customer doing this.
No.
And it's something that we had a really strong conversation about and had to take back to the business. All our clients we talk to this about, there's some that don't even want to do it. And I understand that. But if the customer's going down that journey, how do we control that narrative?
100%. And I think, you know, for Ksubi, we have some very set sale periods in the year. We don't engage in every after payday sale, etc. You know, we come to the big ones, but this was a way for us to not alienate a markdown shopper. Our customer base is vast. It's been super interesting bringing a customer data platform into our mix as well, because, you know, Australians knew us 20 years ago and might be in their 40s now still buying the jeans, but, you know, we've got the...
me.
Yeah.
That's Prav.
Yeah. And then you've got the Bondi Junction store right next to Zara, so we're getting all these aspirational, you know, customers. So, you know, bringing in a uni days last year was something, you know, from the customer. Student beans. Okay,
We'll come back to that.
You know, that was essential because, you know, we followed the trend there. I think what's been really interesting for us as well is, you know, there was a time, not because Chris wasn't pushing us hard enough, because we just weren't really reacting to enough, where we were relying a lot on the buy now, pay laters at the bottom of the funnel, right? And we saw a massive shift in Afterpay. And now, you know, our ecom manager is going and looking at some new buy now, pay later solutions for this year. Should we be with the Affirms, the Klarnas, you know, looking at our global mix and how that's working? But the thing that we're really working on now is that top of funnel and that connectivity of the Shop My, the LTK. You know, we've had a bit of change in our marketing team internally, and there's some really great appetite for us to connect all those dots, and that's going to be the really exciting part for us. Is I think that scaling of the top of funnel acquisition and continuing to not put too much reliance on that bottom of funnel buy now, pay later, which before was a massive portion, wasn't it, of the revenue that was coming through.
And I think those top of funnel publishers, like the influencers and the creators and the kind of traditional PR or even the performance PR, is that true incremental introducer for a brand. While they might not be the last click converter, they are the introducer to a new customer and a new demographic. And that's why we tapped into Student Beans for Ksubi, because we kind of identified we want to bring that customer in from their first touch point. They might be 18, 19, going into university, going into college. And if we can introduce them and nurture them from that age, we're going to have them through the entire kind of age cycle with Ksubi.
100%.
Yeah, we probably touched on something really interesting there, and that's where affiliate combines with brand and brand building and that top of funnel awareness. Would that have been a reason as to why you put affiliates forward in the first place, or that's just been a result of learning and working with a great partner?
I think that's been the evolution of the partnership, because like I said, when we started out, you know, I inherited this is a channel that I hadn't had much exposure, you know, optimizing. Our mix was just, you know, that low-hanging fruit with the honeys and the cash rewards, etc. And then over time, we wanted to align where we were showing up with being a slightly more premium brand. So, you know, the agency did a great job of showing us where our competitors are turning up, what their kind of CPA models are, and we restructured that. But I think the potential with influencers and leveraging that has probably been under-indexed a bit for especially a brand of Ksubi that is so strong and has that. And that's why it's been a real focus for us to connect those dots internally. And I think that has just come down to cross-department connectivity, really. I don't think, you know, the guys have put the great suggestions in front of us. It's down to us now to make sure that we're capitalizing that, educating the people that we're working with in the talent industry as well, and coordinating that more effectively. But I don't think that was initially how we were seeing the channel.
No, we kind of saw it from that middle to bottom of funnel. And I think that is what we see with a lot of businesses that are the size of Ksubi, or kind of those bigger kind of corporations or companies or agencies, not agencies, but brands that we work with, because there's so many different departments and the evolution of affiliate is changing so much with the monetization of content and influencers. It's like, how do we kind of bring all that together?
Yeah.
And it's also just bringing everyone on that journey. The CEOs, the head of marketings, the head of PRs, and bring them into a room. because ultimately the more that we can come together, the more that we can kind of drive out of this channel.
And I mean, those business cases now are 10 times stronger between the stuff that the guys can put together with competitors and how they want to attack it and the data that we're being able to extract from ProfitPeak. It's a much easier conversation to get across the line. Whereas before, it was harder for me. They kind of just said, keep it at that kind of 1% of your overall sales is what we'll invest in the channel. And I was quite restricted. And I think also what's changed for us in our strategic approach is we used to be a bit hesitant to pay for placements because, just really not understanding what the ROI would be because we didn't have access to all of this data. So we were very much CPA, weren't we? And even some of the integration fees, we were like, but we've built confidence and in knowing which ones to lean into from, like I said, combination of strategy and data to inform that decision making.
And as an agency, our job is to provide that to Ksubi, and we look at it if it's going to be more cheaper to pay a fixed fee than a CPA, or we can kind of give Rach and Kat, who works on the team, like the ROI that you're going to get when we're going to make that back, and we have all that kind of data from our vast kind of portfolio.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think you touched on two really important topics. One is bringing the right people into the room and everyone being armed with the right information to make decisions. And two, also allowing the teams to feel confident in their recommendations. So you obviously need your team to feel empowered to come to you and say, hey, we believe that this is the right strategy. And then equally, you have to go back up to Craig and the rest of the leadership team and say, I back my team. Yeah. And building that confidence is quite challenging.
Yeah. And I think earlier on it was hard to prove some of that out. And now, that has shifted. But they don't forget the CFO or the CEO. If I say, this might make this, a couple months later, they're knocking on my door and they're like, okay, what did we get?
9 times out of 10 we've got there.
Yes.
And I say, I think even just looking at the profitability of the channel, like I think even on average, our blended commission rate, and that's something that we work on, that's our KPI. It's like 5%. Yeah. Like that's pretty good on a channel.
It's fantastic on a channel basis, especially if the channel is hitting, as we said, we're no longer focused on bottom of funnel activation. We're actually looking at top of funnel activation as well.
And that's where we kind of, shoot the shooting star.
Yeah. Yeah. I think another great example we both know and we work with is Arms of Eve. And we were talking about how it's their most profitable channel last year. So I'm sure they've doubled down this year.
Oh, definitely. I think when we came on just over 12 months ago, there was a bit of hesitation. They had previously worked with an agency in the US and didn't have the best kind of, I think, experience. They had also worked with a network and didn't have the best experience there. And I think it's been the award-winning formula, as Aaron would say. Even Ian, who works across their digital business as well, was a big advocate for us and got it over the line. And Aaron's still heavily involved in the channel, and we're continuing to invest in it, not us personally, but they are from a budget perspective, us in terms of the work output. And I think they're just wanting to scale it as much as they can. And again, that's a very efficient channel for them, and they're always open to our ideas. And if we get a little bit of pushback, I push back. And 9 times out of 10, it ends up getting approved.
You are a good objection handler, I'll give you that.
But my job is to give you all the evidence and all the tools to get that approval. And if you say no, I'm going to push back. And if you say no again, and
like Carla said,
months,
it comes down to confidence. And like you said, it sounds like with Arms of Eve, they weren't educated with their previous partner. Like you guys are the technical experts educating me and Kat, the digital marketing manager. My role on it very much now is, you guys manage the channel. I'm just managing what that channel's contributing to the business and helping articulate that, or, keep it accountable or look for opportunities to help you guys scale that. But my role's changed very much on the channel over the last couple of years, hasn't it?
I think there was a period when we were together where we were working with someone, I don't know if we should be putting this in the podcast, where we were like challenging their ideas. Yes. And I think then there was a period where it was just you and I was like,
Let me have the reins.
Let me have the full reins. And it killed it.
Yes, yeah.
And I think that's a good thing as well.
Yeah.
Because when you have someone in a brand or even an agency side or even in our business that challenges the way that you're working and it makes you think about another strategy to enter the conversation in a more effective way.
Yeah,
definitely. I think, I've worked agency and I've ended up brand, and I think you do go into a brand at a certain level. I mean, the rate of change and access to information when you're agency or maybe even on the tech side. You then get into a brand and your blinkers are on. I've been superfied, I call it. And as much as I try and meet with people like you and have these discussions to kind of keep it, my finger is not on the pulse like it is when you're in an agency. So you do have to really trust in the partners of the people around you and lean into them, because they are, you know, propping you up in those areas, because it's very easy just to get used to what Ksubi's doing and not keep an eye on what the industry's doing, where we should be, where our competitors are, which is where your intel really helps us.
And I think that's where we just need like brands to be confident in the channel and confident in the partners. And I think unfortunately there's been a lot of instances where they've been burnt by the channel. And I want clients and people to actually feel confidence in the channel. It's a channel that can untap a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think if you are working with another brand or another agency or another network, is challenge what they're kind of doing. Because if you're not, and you're not getting the most out of them, it's probably time to look elsewhere.
And I think, like you're saying, it's got a lot of potential, but it can be relatively low lift for a brand if you have the right people supporting you. Like, you know, we have regular whips, a bit of back and forth, but it's light touch from a brand point of view and letting the agency do their bit.
And that's our job. Like we're the gatekeepers to Ksubi's affiliate and partnership program. Yeah. Any opportunity, even if it doesn't tap into affiliate, we'll forward to you. Yeah. Like we get a lot of outreach from traditional like partnership opportunities that don't tap into affiliate. We loop it in. Yeah. We do a lot of added value through the affiliate channel. We work really closely with Qantas, a big partner for Ksubi, and Arms of Eve. And they recently have been putting a focus on their kind of employee benefits more. And that doesn't tap into kind of affiliate, but we've been able to launch a lot of our brands on that. And that's a great added value because you're also reaching 30, 40,000 kind of additional customers that you might have not reached.
And for us, you know, affiliates at the moment is contributing about 7% of overall revenue. We think we've got room to push that. You know, our stretch goal is to get that to 10% this year. But 7% of revenue by having a whip every 2 weeks and a bit of email correspondence, not to discredit what Kat is doing on our side because she's working very closely with the guys, but for them to do the heavy lifting and for us to get 7% of revenue, that workload, output, input value, you know, it speaks for itself.
It can go up to like 15%.
Yeah, it can.
Like there's some brands that are heavily wholesaled that we see go up to 15%. Like that's pretty epic.
Yeah, I mean, that's some people's CRM contribution. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, and that takes a lot more work.
And it's also more bottom funnel.
Yeah.
It's
true.
So it's not actually building that top of funnel incremental growth for a brand.
That's right.
Very interesting. We've talked a lot about a lot of different topics, but what do we feel would be the biggest mistake a brand could be making with their affiliate program right now? Or what would it be something that they would look at and go, we could be doing better?
I think I'll go first just from my experience was we were probably paying way too much in CPAs at one point, just like, you know, in the teens and sometimes 20s, and there's a place for that, but I don't think it was an informed strategy for us. And I think that's where the expertise of, for example, letting Chris take the reins, letting them guide us, saying, trust us, we're going to do this 30, 60, 90, we think it's going to work, etc. And I think back then that was a time when I've come a long way as a leader in profitability. How much does an order actually cost, even down to delivery costs and packaging, things I was just like marketing dollars, that's what I made on the order. Oh, I'll take 20% off of that. But really, was it a markdown product, all of the costs and the overheads? I've learned a lot as well about every order and the value and the profitability of it, which is why we're trying to focus on that more going forward. But I think that was probably our biggest burn. It wasn't a significant loss, but it was a big learning as to how to do things better and more informed.
I would 100% agree, the profitability of the channel. Yeah. I think it's looking at your CPA structures, what you're paying at each stage of the funnel, the network override fees as well. Like, this is very controversial, but the technology is the technology. Like, don't look at your agency fees, look at your tech fees. Like, again, do not be paying a override on the net sales, pay it on the commission, because that's what that tech is there to do, is to drive the partnerships. You should be paying an override on the commission, not the sales. And I guess that's what I'm really uncovering with a lot of new businesses coming into my remit, is our agency fees are very much a great cost. They're not too high and they're not too low.
They're very reasonable.
They're reasonable. And I think then having your commission at a reasonable kind of piece, we've always been under under budget on the channel, but over indexing. And I guess I was looking at one client specifically, 50% of their cost goes on the tech fees. And I'm like, no.
That's not right.
Like that. And also there's an automatic saving by moving or negotiating that as well. And that's something that we do as an agency. That's not on the brand to do. We need to be involved in the entire channel, because obviously when you work with Meta and Google, you're not paying a tech fee. But when we look at the true cost of the channel, we include those technology fees. Because,
I mean, Chris reminded me that my annual bill's coming up and it's going to auto-renew. Like, that's how in the detail they are. And they negotiate hard. They fight for us to get the best deals. And we make decisions based on a lot of their relationships with all of the partners as well. They'll be like, I actually think if we wait a few months, maybe we don't put this in, but it might come down and stuff, and that's just a credit to how embedded they are in all of the partners and the tech.
Yeah, and I think the partners, if the brand's got a true identity and a true kind of brand awareness in market, you can really leverage that. And we leverage it. Brands spend so much on organic growth, on top of funnel through Meta and Google. And that's where we've kind of looked at, and that's what I said to Rachel when we kind of came on and kind of really reshaped the channel. We look at it every 6 months of what the kind of true CPAs we are paying. We do it weekly, we do it sometimes daily, we do audits, but also we want to make sure that we are leveraging what has been previously built with brands.
Makes a lot of sense. Rach, what are your priorities for the team for the next 12 months?
I'm not going to be there for
I know, but I'm sure you're setting it in stone.
12 months, yeah. I mean, we're a month into the new financial year, and we're just kind of finishing off all of those strategic conversations with all partners, just with everything confirmed. For us, it is really being more across our customer mix, new, returning, and our channel mix. I think, our overall efficiency as a team has been hindered a little bit by not rehabilitating some of our own channels. So that was a really big learning from the last year. With affiliates, like I said, we want to stretch the goal of revenue contribution getting to 10%. The exercise that I really want to do now that we have, the data and the expertise is that AOV analysis with the COGS to really understand the profitability of, each partner, each channel. So when we do our regular audits, which, normally at least quarterly, we're looking through every single partner and deciding, is this still of value? Do we need to be leaning in more and participating more in campaign placements or, massaging our CPA or exploring new buy now, pay later providers to kind of prop that part of the funnel up, for example. So we're in a really exciting place where we have the opportunity to scale, as we've touched on with the affiliates, at the top of funnel with incorporating our marketing team more, looking at talent and creators more, and then also just a little bit of rehabilitation at the bottom. And I think that 10% of revenue is going to be very easy to achieve. And then just the data to, support Kat and the team with conversations internally when the guys want to propose stuff and get it across the line. Is something that, we definitely didn't have a couple of years ago and is helping us.
And I think even just having that opportunity to put Ksubi's retail mix into it now, like their bricks and mortar, obviously the return to bricks and mortar.
Yes, that's a really good point. Card linking offers has been a big focus for us, turning up in a slightly more premium place with, credit cards and providers. And we're looking at store expansion, and omni-channel is a big focus for us. We're still relatively green in bringing that together, and the customer data platform that we brought in last year was a big piece of that. That's another goal of ours, is to just make sure that the in-store and online shopping experience is as similar as it can be.
Very exciting times.
Yes.
Before we wrap up, is there one key takeaway we can leave the audience each with?
Do the channel.
Give Chris the reins.
Call me.
Yeah. I think it is the biggest takeaway for me is believing in your partner, having the confidence with your partners and in the data. So like you said, you can back it, whether it's the affiliates channel or any other channel. My approach to getting anything across the line, I've got to be confident in it to back it, because they're going to hold me very accountable to it. But doing a kind of business case, doing an ROI model, etc. And, it's so exciting having some of these tools in our kit now with ProfitPeak, and being able to have really more sophisticated conversations, which I think is just super, super exciting.
I think it's just have fun with the channel. Obviously when you work with Meta and Google, you're working with Meta and a brand. But when you work on the affiliate channel, you're working with the likes of Lyst, American Express, Student Beans, Commonwealth Bank, Virgin Velocity. There's all these kind of new partners in market that you can tap into, and a lot of the time doesn't cost to be on their platform, and they've got a reach that probably can mirror what Meta can do collectively if you do it in the right manner. Like, what is the reach of Qantas versus the reach of Lyst? Like, adding those two together is just, it's also just making sure you have the knowledge, not even the knowledge, but understanding you want to be present where you can be present, wherever your competitors are showing up, wherever your brand is showing up through your wholesale retail partners as well. How do you make sure you're in that mix as well?
Yeah. Great points. I think what I would leave everyone with is not spending your entire day or week trying to find data and pull insights from your data. Actually execute on the data. And I think that's probably the biggest gap that we see with most brands is they know what they only know. And they don't know what they don't. And so it's really hard to build the confidence piece, which we really talked about a lot, the three of us. And that's key to scaling any channel. You need confidence. And if you spend your whole day trying to find confidence and you don't end up with the confidence you need, you're not going to do the right thing at the end of the day.
No, you need that agility for sure. Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
Awesome. Too easy, actually.
Next one.